Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 199 of the Well Done Life podcast. Hello, and welcome back to episode 199 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, how are you? Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here this week. I hope that you will stay for a very long time and bring a friend. If you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep. Thank you so much for continuing to support me on this journey. I couldn't do this without you. And of course, I want you to bring friends as well. Before we dive into this week's episode, it's really important to me to be very foundational. For those of you that have been a part of this journey with me for quite some time, I'm sure you can recite this with me, but it is really important to me that I treat this space like a safe space, like a house. And so since we're going to create a house, we have to make sure that our house is built on two very strong foundations, and that is clarity and love. Clarity is really straightforward. I just want to make sure that you understand that the Well Done Life podcast is a podcast that I created for women because I believe in the power of us. I believe that by sharing my story, the good, the bad, the ugly of it all, that you will be inspired to share, hopefully, your journey, that you can glean some type of inspiration, some type of thing to help you avoid the pitfalls that I've made, so that you can see that, you know what, you're not alone in this journey. We're all out here just trying to do our best, and it's not easy, and we all make mistakes, but there are places where we can be ourselves and we can be supported and encouraged, because I want nothing but the best for you. And then also that you'll meet some other amazing ladies that you will be inspired by and that you will connect with. There are so many of us out in the community doing amazing things, and we have to support each other as we are all trying to navigate that journey. So welcome. That is what the Well Done Life is about. And then that leads me into my final foundation. It's my favorite foundation. I believe in love. I love love. I'm a sucker for love. And so the way that I like to show my love for you is by sending you prayers. And I have to admit, this week, my prayers probably are going to sound very similar, but, it's been a week, it's been a time, and we're going to talk about that. But really, I am praying right now that we all have peace. We need it. I live in Orlando, Florida. That's all I have to say. I'm sure we have all been inundated by news of Milton. I have Hurricane Milton. I'm glad he's gone. But it has been a journey. And so with that, my peace has been in jeopardy. It has been on a very thin string, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. And so I hope this week that you are going into it with peace. I really do. That you are realizing that you are doing everything that you possibly can do, and that in all things are going to work out. Even when they don't make sense to you, they will work out. Sometimes we just have to sit in it. Sometimes we just have to surrender to it in order for us to move through. But you will find it if you are willing to surrender to peace. So I hope you are surrounded in peace. On top of those prayers of peace, I also want you to be surrounded in prayers of empathy. We're in October now, and this is the fourth quarter. We've talked about it, but one thing that I find is always in short supply as we get toward the holidays is empathy. It's amazing to me. And not to mention, this is an election year. So, of course, I would be remiss if I don't bring it up that, we do have to be empathetic toward each other as we are moving through the season. It is very easy to get triggered. It is very easy to feel like you are isolated. It is very easily feel like you are adversary. It is very easy to feel all of the things. And so we need to be empathetic to each other. We have no idea the battles that other people are facing. And so empathy, I like to bring it up because, again, believe it or not, the season of cheer and joy that we are going into, it is also a season where people tend to be the most depressed, where they tend to be struggling. And we need to give grace and empathy to people because grace and empathy is sufficient for them and it is sufficient for you. So make sure you're giving yourself that grace and empathy. So like I said, this week we're sending you prayers of peace. I'm sending you prayers of empathy. I'm also sending you prayers of just taking a moment to take care of you, because again, you're facing all of these things out here that can be jeopardizing your peace and challenging you in areas where you may not be empathetic. You have to take time to take care of you. You are such a beautiful vessel. You are unique. There is not another one like you. So you have to be gentle with your mind, your body, and your soul. So make sure that you are getting rest where you can. Make sure you're trying to eat as nutritionally as you possibly can, because let's not all pretend we're getting ready again to go into the holidays. And the holidays are times of indulgence. And it doesn't mean that I think we have to give up indulgence, but I think indulgence has to look a different way depending on where we are with our health and our goals. And we have to prioritize our health and goals over the taste of this food. I mean, really, we all have to recognize there comes a point in time where we just can't keep eating and doing the exact same thing that we've been doing and expect different results. It doesn't work that way. It's going to require us to make radical change and radical choices. So don't be afraid to make radical change and radical choices as it relates to your health, as it relates to how you navigate this season mentally and physically. Maybe some of that means that you are not going to be available to everyone the way that you have been, or you're not going to take responsibility for cooking all of the holiday meals, or you are not going to take responsibility for buying everybody all the things. I mean, this is quite a season. Or you are going to take responsibility as well and stand in your political beliefs and be strong about how you feel and make a choice and stand in your choice, even if it's not the most popular one. And I'm saying that because this is a season where we have to be radically clear about what we want and what we don't want. And I've been very clear about most of my choices politically. Y'all know I stand very 10 toes down for Harris Walz. That is who I am voting for. That's who I believe in, because for me, it is about democracy. It is about, realizing what's good for the sake of our country and where we want to go. And in regards to my health, you all know I'm on a health journey, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. I'll give you guys an update on where I am, because I did talk to Dr. Hill about coming on the podcast, and I got some good news. So we're going to talk about that too. But, and then just for my mental health, I'm in therapy and I'm loving it. I'm so grateful, because I'm not going to lie. Hurricane Milton tested my gangster. It really did. It tested all of our gangsters. I really went from the person who was like, oh, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay, to, okay, let me scramble out here and try to get some sandbags or some soil or mulch or whatever, because I got to block the doors and windows. I'm petrified. So believe me, things switch up in a matter of moments. But at the same time, sometimes you got to go with it. You got to do what you need to do so that you can find peace. And I'm very grateful that I'm finding peace in therapy, because it's helping me navigate some of these seasons, some of these challenges, some of the anxiety that I'm feeling about life and in the world. And so I just challenge you also to, if you need therapy, think about it. Don't hesitate. Because again, you are expecting to create radical change, and radical results require radical change. So those are my prayers for you. And always rounding out my prayer is abundance. I'm always going to wish for you to be financially abundant and emotionally abundant and spiritually abundant in all that you do, because I want you to be a blessing to yourself and to other people as well. And so today I am recording on Saturday, October the 12th at 4:44 p.m. And I'm giving myself grace. And I am not saying that I'm late, because I think this is right on time. I have been trying to ruminate. I love using the word ruminate, by the way, on what I wanted to record about. I wasn't even sure if I was going to record, because like I said, Hurricane Milton really tested my gangster this week. And I found that my anxiety was high. But I'm very grateful that I had a great session with my therapist, and we were kind of talking about all the things that we felt. And luckily, my house sustained no damage. I didn't lose power. And we were able to start to move forward. And I feel like everybody here in my area of Orlando we're just trying to get back to normal. We're trying to move forward. And it just feels a little different, I think, now. It's funny to me. I feel like people are actually a little kinder to each other, because I think we've all realized how quickly things can turn and how easily life can change. None of us here in Orlando, sometimes we kind of take it for granted of being center focused when hurricanes come, because being in the center, it just kind of avoids that. We're landlocked, so we don't have a lot of water. But I think we realize this time that, we are just as much as in danger as some of other people. And we've seen some storms and we've been blessed, but we realize, got to be prepared. And so I just have kind of been in like this cycle of just not sure how I felt, how I was going to move forward. But I'm really glad to be here. I'm really glad to have a chance to talk with you guys. This is just, like I said, such a moment for me of gratefulness. I really am. I'm really, really sitting in gratefulness because it has just been quite a season. And so kind of diving into that, I guess first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for their support of episode 198 on the podcast. Really, truly appreciate it. I hope that you guys enjoyed Out of the Box because I am feeling like I'm in the season of being out of the box. And I guess that's a really good kind of jumping point in regards to my weight loss journey and Dr. Hill. And so I am now, I think I'm like 3 weeks, almost a month into my health journey with Dr. Hill, and it's going really well. I have lost more weight. I'm down in total for the 3 weeks that I've been, I'm down 11 pounds, which is awesome. I'm really excited about it. I feel good. And I know that it's only going to continue to get better. And I feel like my relationship with food is getting better. I'm really taking more time to think about what I'm eating and how I'm feeling and how the impact is going to appear in my body. So I definitely am enjoying it. And then when I went to go and talk with her at my last weigh-in, not this one that just occurred, but my previous one, I told her, hey, I really think I want to have you on the podcast because I want to talk to you a little bit more about the journey. And she was totally down. And so we're going to try to make it work. I was planning on going out of town to Miami to see one of my other really good friends. We were going to go see Usher, y'all. Yeah, I was going to get a chance to see Usher Raymond in concert. But, Milton was a hater and destroyed those plans. But that's okay. I'm not going to say destroyed. That's just me being overly emotional because I was really excited about getting on the bright line and seeing my friend because I haven't seen her like in months and like just sitting down and being in her presence and talking to her. Like she is just so fun to just be in their presence and talk to. And so I really am sad about that on top of, like I said, seeing the great Usher Raymond. But I was like planning on trying to, get that done when I got back. So she and I are kind of playing calendar tag. And, this last weigh-in was like, look, okay, the hurricane is over and I just need to kind of make sure I'm still on track because God knows hurricane food is a danger. Hurricane food is a danger. That's another thing that I realized too when I was going through like having my emotional anxiety filled sandbag, soil and mulch things that hurricane food is horrible for you. Like literally all that we sell is just junk and garbage. I've never seen like so many more chips and stuff like that. And I'm like, when you're trying to change your life and be radically healthy, that is not the move. And we just have to do a better job of providing healthy options for people in situations like that. So, that's a kind of like a mini rant realization. And so that kind of deterred me from really like following back up about, okay, like when can we get this on the calendar? But when I go back this week to see her, I will definitely make sure I get it on the calendar. And my goal is that I will have her on the show, if not this month, definitely in early November, because I just, again, really think it's important to have a very honest conversation around obesity and health. And I started that conversation at the reset, but I know everybody wasn't able to be in that space. So I'm really excited about having her come and talk to me as I'm on this journey with her to find my best self. And we just sit down and share with you some of the insights that she can share that may help you be able to make good decisions in regards to how you want to move forward with your health, how you want to move forward with your weight, because it's just important. We only have one vessel. The body that we are in is unique and divinely gifted to us, and we have to take care of it and optimize it to the best of our ability. So I just want to make sure that we're setting ourselves up on the right trajectory. So yes, radically trying to adjust my life, radically thinking. So that's where Out of the Box came in. And if you haven't had a chance to check out that episode, I hope you do. But this week, I'm kind of kicking it a little bit different. I actually got my inspiration for this week's episode from one of my favorite authors who happened to be the opening speaker at my event, The Reset, in August, Yasmin Cheyenne. And Yasmin posted some great insights or affirmations in the beginning of the month. And girl, when I saw this, let me tell you, it just struck me like, yep, because it's like 5 days ago that this post came up. And one of the posts that she shared was, hey, but also, is it just me or has October been a whole year already? And you know what? I had to respond back to her and say, yes, October has just been a whole year, because at that point we were waiting for Milton, stressed out, like literally my anxiety was like on level 12. But at the same time, while my anxiety was high, it also made me sit down and think about how fast moving and how traumatizing October has been for myself and so many people. I mean, I'm not just talking about Hurricane Milton, because, you know, of course, hurricanes are triggering. I'm not going to pretend. Even though I live here in Florida, I've lived here the bulk of my life. Hurricanes are triggering. And when you start to see the media kind of round it up into like, oh, it's a category 5, you start hearing the words catastrophic. You start recounting all of the people that have been lost, people who are still cleaning up for Hurricane Helene. And now here we go with another one. It's just like your anxiety just can ramp up. And you try to stay calm, but it's like you can't stay away from the news because you have to know what's going on. Like for my family, I'm that person who has to track where everything's going to be and how this, and I'm just like stressed out. On top of this, I'm getting used to my new job and all those things. You know, I know some of those are like first world problems, but kind of sort of not first world to me. I mean, people are going through, I have friends who are experiencing like significant amount of stress dealing with family members, or, you know, having someone that they love who was severely injured in a senseless act of violence. But this person is still, my girl is still out here going to work every day, trying to hold it down for her and her family like nothing's going on. It just made me sit in a moment and think that, you know what? Yes, October doesn't feel like 31 days anymore. October feels like 365 days. And, you know, when times like this happen, we have to take stock, to me, of what God is trying to do in our life. And I'm always going to go back to God in moments like that, because God is the center for me. God is a place where I can find peace. God is a place where I can find clarity. And so I really sat in it a lot, and I'm still sitting in it. I'm not going to be, I'm going to be transparent. It's only October the 12th. And we're just like a few days past the storm. And I'm still feeling like, yeah, October is still feeling like a year. And it's just, there's so much that I see people facing, so much that we are all experiencing. And just, you know, I'm grateful. I'm asking God for what is he trying to reveal, you know, how do we navigate these situations? How do I be a support to my friends and my family and the others that I encounter who are going through? And how do I be, you know, a resource to myself? Because there are times where I feel like I just want to, you know, sit down and close down social media a little bit and just not be present, because I need to be present for me. And I've made that decision quite a bit. I have to admit, I haven't been that active this month because I just emotionally don't have it to give. And that's not an indictment. It doesn't mean that I'm depressed. It's just me deciding that this bit of energy that I have, this dip that I'm feeling in it, I need to ride through alone. And I need to ride through with just a small circle too. And so that's what I'm choosing to do. So if you guys don't see me out there as much as I've been in the past, please know that that's what it is. It's just I'm nourishing me. And so I'm sharing this because I hope that, one, if you're feeling the way that I'm feeling, that you're feeling like, wow, it has really been a year in 31, packed into almost 31 days. That's crazy. And you're not alone. And I'm feeling that way too. And then at the same time that you can really hopefully maybe glean that it's okay to take a moment, a breath for yourself. Because typically, like I was mentioning earlier, and I've mentioned before, this is the time where we all tend to like ramp up. You know, we get even busier with obligations and different things that we need to take care of. But sometimes in different seasons of our lives, in the middle of the busyness, you need to give yourself space to sit still. You need to give yourself space to rest. You need to give yourself space to be nourishing. And for me, nourishing at this point in my life, I'm not going to pretend nourishing is being surrounded by the people that I love. Nourishing is definitely therapy. Nourishing is taking care of my body in a different way, being gentler with my body, eating healthier, being more mindful about me. And it feels good. And it feels good because I know it's what I need and what my body needs. But also it feels good because for the first time in a long time, I'm choosing me. Yep, I'm choosing me. And I think a lot of us may be kind of feeling those pressures of like, wow, how do I choose me? You just have to do it. I would love to say that there's a blueprint in the midst of all the craziness that you are encountering right now of how to choose you, but there's not. It's just about the choice. It's about you making the decision to realize that in the middle of this chaos, in the middle of this stress, that you are grateful for the time that you are here, that you are grateful for the moment that you are in, that you are grateful for the people that surround you, but you are also grateful for having the strength to say that you need time for you, that you need to take a sit down, that you need to take a breath and a breather. Because really, that's all you can do. Life is going to continue to do what it does. It's going to life. I mean, literally, like I was saying, I'm really not exaggerating. I have seen so much tragedy and so much stress and strain over these last few months. And then I think about one of my good friends who just is going through it now and navigating it, and luckily God blessed this young man, her godson, is doing better. He's on the road to recovery, but he suffered, like I said, a catastrophic injury in a senseless act of violence. And for her and her family to feel helpless as this young man is fighting for his life. On top of this, you're trying to deal with the demands of the job. On top of this, you're trying to deal with the demands of life and doing what you need to do so that things keep going because you know that you have to. It gets hard and it gets overwhelming. And you feel like you're going to break sometimes and you're still trying to be strong, but sometimes it's hard. And you have to be able to make the choice to say, you know what, I've done my best. I've given my all. And now I need to do my best and give my all to me. I need to either sit in this space and get myself together or just sit in stillness for a minute because you deserve that. And so I hope that you all will take that chance because, I'm not going to pretend. If October is feeling the way that it is right now, I can only imagine what November and December are going to bring. And I'm not saying that in a way to say, November is going to be crazy, December is going to be crazy. Who knows what they're going to bring? But I think at this point, it probably is going to definitely not be an easy time because that's just the nature of life right now. But you have to understand that in the middle of that, you are still worthy, you are still capable, and you still need to take time for you. We have to stop letting the dramas of the world always prevent us from putting ourselves first. We get so caught up in lottie-dottie and everybody's business, but we have to be worried about the business of us. And I'm seeing more of my friends, luckily, I think, sitting in silence a little more, taking a little bit more time for themselves. And I'm very grateful for that. Because when I was mentioning to you earlier that I felt like, God always reveals different things. He's the center. He's the truth. I think in the center and truth of all this, sometimes God is revealing that you need to dial back in a little bit deeper to you. We need to dial in a little bit deeper to ourselves. We need to dial in a little bit deeper to him because he is the greatest source of strength and inspiration that we will ever have. He is the greatest source of peace that we will ever have. And we have to stop trying to do things on our own and worrying about what everybody is doing. Everybody's life is not your life. You have one life to live. Live it well, live it full. Be grateful for every moment that you give and go forward. Really, it just amazes me because, again, I just think that has to do more so with just the nature of our society. We're very celebrity driven, very social media driven. Everybody always wants to present like they're doing better than this person or they got this going on. And I think all of those things can be true. We are going to have that. That's just the nature of us. But at the same time, we have to be able and willing to dial back into what makes us who we are, the core of us as people, our values. And we have to dial into what really matters just a little bit more, because we can't live each other's lives. We're not all going to be celebrities. We are not all going to, have our names in lights or be social media influencers or any of that. But we're still going to have these big, beautiful lives that deserve the best of us. And in order to do that, we have to dial back in to us. So I hope that you will take this time to dial back into you, that you will take this time to realize that, yes, October is definitely feeling like a year crammed into 31 days, but there is still a way for you to dial into you. You can sit in stillness. You can take moments to sleep better, go to bed maybe an hour or so earlier. You can get up a little earlier so you can have time for devotionals where you can pray, where you can work out, where you can really feed yourself emotionally, physically, and spiritually. But it's all about you making the choice. Because again, like I mentioned earlier, it's not a blueprint to any of this. All of our lives are unique and individual. We just have to make the choice. And so for me right now, I'm making the choice. I have to admit, I'm getting up earlier so that I can work out. I'm trying to go to bed a little bit earlier. It's a little tough. I love talking to my baby at night. So that's our time when I get challenged, and he and I are both working together to try to help, stay motivated on us, taking these radical changes of health and being the best versions of ourselves for our families and for each other. But that's what I'm doing. I'm nourishing my body with sleep. I'm also giving myself moments where I'm not connected to social media a lot more. And I have to admit, I think what I'm going to do is probably in November, I'm going to take a few weeks off of the pod. I'm going to do the same in December, but I am going to take a few weeks because this is a time of rebirth and regrowth, and just trying to figure out how I'm going to map it up. But I definitely am going to be making some changes going into 2025. And I'm very excited about what I'm doing. I hope you guys are going to love it. But I think it's time to do some things. Next year is going to be my 5th year doing this. And I love the podcast. I'm so proud of what we've been able to accomplish, even with my limiting thoughts. I have to be honest, because I envision so much more, but I'm letting those limits off in 2025. And so just sit back and watch. It's going to be some amazing things. But at the same time, I'm nourishing me. I mean, it's an election season coming up. I'm so passionate about Vice President Harris and Tim Walz's ticket. I like what they're going to do. I like what they bring. They bring such a normalcy back. And I think we need some normalcy. And I think it's normalcy that shifts across all groups, which is nice. Because I think it's about time that, again, as it leans into empathy, we start to try to understand the challenges that all of us are facing and how we really are a lot more similar than we give ourselves credit for. And so I'm kind of leaning into that. So yeah, I am just kind of giving everyone a heads up. I just really decided in this minute, I'm going to take some time off in November, and I'm going to take some time off in December, a few weeks, so that I can just make sure that I am nourishing my dreams, nourishing my body, nourishing my mind, my soul, and my energy as I'm moving into this latter part of 2024, going into 2025, excuse me. And so I'll be talking more about that as that comes up. But I want you guys to realize that, yes, this has definitely been a difficult month. There's so many things happening. And if you're experiencing a lot of challenges, a lot of change, a lot of loss, and just confusion and all of these things, and all of the emotions, please know that you're not alone. And I'm sending you all my love and thoughts and prayers and energy because, baby, we're on this journey together. But I am truly believing that there is a season of rebirth. There's a season of change, and there's a season of expansion and growth, and all the things that we are going through right now are preparing us for that season. Don't get stuck making permanent decisions in temporary situations. Please remember that some of the things that you are going through right now are temporary, and they feel permanent, but they're temporary. You just have to give yourself space and silence so that you can sit and look at it and then move, because it doesn't require instant movement all the time. It's okay to sit still. Give yourself the grace and empathy to sit still. Give yourself that peace because you deserve it, because you're out here still trying to take care of your family, work at your job, be the best friend, be the best partner, be all the things. Make sure you are all the things to yourself. If you have not been prioritizing that before, now is the time. Because right now it's essential. Your very survival counts on it. Because unfortunately, things don't always get easier before they get better. They get more hard, they get challenging. And we have to be ready physically, emotionally, and spiritually for what we will face. And get ready. You just know that you can make it through, because I'm pulling with you. And I kind of want to wrap it up by thanking Yasmin for putting it into words, because I couldn't put into words how I was feeling about this month. But I definitely think, yep, October has been a whole year already. And I'm looking forward to learning the lessons. And I'm looking forward to reminding myself that I am more than the substance of the things that I am going through. I am undefeated. I can make it through. These things will not last. All this is a temporal situation, and I will not make permanent decisions in a temporary situation. So please don't make permanent decisions in a temporary situation for you too. So that is the pod this week. Yep, that's the pod. Like I said, I'm really excited to be in this space. I'm excited to feel the way I'm feeling. I'm excited to have gratitude, and I'm navigating it through, and I'm just trying to find my way. And so I wanted to offer you some encouragement to all those who may be feeling like, hey, I don't know how to find my way. You're going to find it. Believe me. I will be back probably next week with another new episode. Yes, I did say probably, because I'm feeling it. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling there. And especially next week will be episode 200. I've been really thinking about it. I cannot believe we are finally at the 200th episode. So I definitely have some things that I need to say. I want to ruminate on it, because y'all know, remember, like I told you, I love the word ruminate. I definitely want to think about it. But I want to encourage you to think about, like I said, where you are and how you're feeling, what you're going to do differently this week. Remember that you are doing your best, and that's enough. That is truly enough. So I hope you will continue to come back and listen again. Please be gentle with yourselves and each other. I will make sure that all my information is in show notes. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I love to be supportive to you guys, because you have been so supportive and encouraging to me on the journey. Please make sure that you will take care of yourselves and each other, and enjoy the rest of your weekend and your week. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.